Welcome to AI to I, our brand new podcast series where we decode the world of artificial intelligence, advanced technologies, and the next frontier of innovation. This is brought to you by Abu Dhabi's Advanced Technology Research Council. My name's Amandeep. I'm your host, so let's get started. Today, I'm in the studio with Professor Oussama Khatib, Director of the Stanford Robotics Lab and advisor to the Technology Innovation Institute. His groundbreaking work is celebrated for transforming the real-world application of robots. Professor Khatib, welcome to AI to I, the podcast series. We're super excited to have you here. Now, of course, you are one of the world's recognized top leaders in robotics. I'm super curious to find out what first sparked your interest in science, technology, and I believe we share an interest in space.
Indeed. Actually, one of the interests I had was to understand space-time. And space-time is just amazing, and it is quite complex, but it was something that really brought me to science and to thinking about a life in science.
So from space-time to robotics, that's quite a leap.
Well, science is really wide, and science encompasses so many things. And I think just the concept of motion in space and the masses and inertias and the dynamics, all of these are in robotics, actually. I mean, if you get deeper into how robotics functions, it's really a good understanding of the motion, understanding of the dynamic of the system, how it interacts between all these moving parts. And well, I didn't know that in the beginning, but I think space-time dynamics and robotics are connected.
Well, as you say, as we get deeper into how robotics function, let's do exactly that. What's the current state of robotics when it comes to the research and industry side?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you ask industry side, because robotics was known to be those machines deployed in manufacturing to produce products. And that was the easy part, because we needed just to understand how to structure the environment, how to put fixtures, jigs around the robot to make everything working. And in fact, everything is working ahead of time. You pre-program all the motions, everything is organized. The transition to the real world, which came about at the turn of the century, was really tough, because now we are talking about robots escaping from manufacturing and going to the real world. And the real world is much harder. And actually, the real world brings the challenges for robotics. I mean, you need to perceive, you need to understand the context, you need to understand what actions, strategies you can bring to this task. And all of those are things that are really in robotics, but they are not easily implemented in any robot. You need to redesign the robot, redesign the sensors, and this is what we have been doing in the last maybe 25 years.
So real-world applications, what are some of the most exciting things you're working on right now?
Oh, yeah. Ocean One. So Ocean One is a dream machine that actually carries your hands deep in the water. You really need a machine to carry your hands, because your hands cannot go deep in the water.
And when we say deep in the water, we're talking right at this is the seabed.
Well, basically, a human can dive for, I don't know, 40, 50 meters comfortably, and then you start to have mixture of oxygen and helium, because oxygen becomes toxic at high pressure. So we can dive, let's say 150 meters, but the oceans are thousands of meters deep, and there is no way for human to go there. So what we do is we go inside submersible, and it is good that we can do that, but all what we can do is mostly seeing, observing. We cannot do things. And there are so many tasks we need to do underwater for the environment, for the ocean, for many things, and we cannot do it properly. So we are developing this machine to really to create a way where the human can reach with their hands through the hands of the machine, and they can see through the eyes of the robot. And now, virtually, you have an avatar down there, and when the robot touches anything in the water, you can feel it up sitting on the boat. And this is something we can discuss maybe later, which is related to how we connect human to the machine through proper, complete interfaces.
That's super fascinating to hear. This really is the next frontier. So from underwater and working in underground in space, you're really tackling some of the most extreme examples that, as you say, humans can't actually reach. But not only are we reaching these extreme environments, we're actually touching these extreme environments. Well, let's pause on that moment of touch. There's another world, a real world example that you have, the health applications of touch. Let's elaborate on this.
Yes. So actually, I mean, today, robotics in medicine is great. And, thousands of surgeries are done with robots. But these are done in hospitals. There are a lot of simple procedures that can save life that we are not able to do everywhere, because in villages there are no hospitals. In small towns there are no hospitals. So we are now working on bringing robots in mobile clinics to villages, and we are allowing those robots to be connected to any hospital within 10,000 miles. They are able to be controlled by the surgeon, the radiologist, to examine a patient in a village where we can save a life. And this is really amazing. And we are starting to deploy this in different countries. And I really hope that we can do this for the developing and underdeveloping world, because enabling healthcare in villages that are remote is going to be really amazing. And just to be precise, we are not talking about enabling medicine through visual feedback. We're talking about doing an ultrasound imaging that requires the sense of touch, the operation, the motion of the robot by the expert. And this is a technology that we recently developed that is allowing us today to sort of extend what the internet brought to us, where the internet is allowing us to hear and see. Now the internet is going to allow us to touch and feel and also interact and do that in real time.
When we speak of embodied intelligence, and it's that idea of the physical capability and machine learning, what do we mean by that, and what's the next frontier in this field?
Yes, well, I mean, today we are just unbelievably lucky with technology. Robots and those concepts started a long time ago. I mean, we built robot before electricity, and we conceived concept Al-Jazari and from the Arab region conceived machines that can perform like human simple tasks, but never was able to really create them because we didn't have the motors. But the concepts were there. Today, we have a convergence of technology that is bringing not only motors, but computer power, memory, new material fabrication methods. We are able to print things and have prototypes very quickly. So all of these things are enabling us to really make huge progress. And especially if we think about machine learning and AI, the computing power, because after all, digital intelligence relies on computation and relies on the ability to store data. And all of that is bringing a huge, powerful tool for exploring the physical world. And when we talk about the physical world, this is where we do the embodiment. So robots are really the embodiment of the physical embodiment of what task and concept that we see in AI. So, for instance, AI is enabling us to analyze medical images. And this is an amazing, powerful tool for the perception. We talked about medical application, ultrasound imaging. We are able now to see and very quickly answer those questions, whether a patient need attention or everything is fine. So this connection between data, machine learning that analyzes the data and give us a prediction about what is happening, and then the execution on a physical machine, which is the robot, is going to produce all these unbelievable results. But the human is going to be a very important part of this, and this is why I say we can reach a level of intelligence, but still the intuition, the experience, the human ability to do things, that cognitive ability in the human, that is responding to situations that are unpredictable, is something that is going to be very important in that process. Yes, we have increased autonomy and intelligence, but we still need the humans, and the humans will be always there in all these different systems.
And this answer perfectly sums up, Professor Khatib, why we still need people like you explaining this very complex science to us. Because there in that answer, I loved the fact that you gave a historical context to the importance of the MENA region, how here science, technology, that kind of embryonic stage, it was celebrated and it began, and the innovation, and took us right to the present day and looking ahead to the future, and celebrating the human factor, the intuition, the experience, the expertise, and that collaboration. And when we speak about the MENA region, and in particular the UAE, I know that you are a celebrated figure here, working with many organizations and individuals at the forefront of the next frontier. Give us an insight in terms of that relationship here and why it's so special.
Well, I've been involved with the Emirate for a number of years with universities, with the Future Foundation, and I really believe the leadership here is really determined to bring about innovations through education, through laboratories and research centers, and through interaction globally with the world to not only bring the results, but really to understand and create the innovation at home. Robotics and AI is something that has been going for many years. I mean, it's not something new. We saw the Industrial Revolution that brought the numerical machine. We saw the robotic development that brought the manufacturing, and now we are into the real world human robot interaction, where robots are assisting the elderly, doing many of the tasks human would really don't like to do, like cleaning the dishes or cleaning the tables, and also enabling us to do things that we couldn't do before. and then making impact in healthcare, making impact in our exploration of spaces, and also the natural resources. I mean, do you believe how much human are suffering when they are going deep in the mines and trying exposing themselves to the danger? Can we mediate this with technology? And these are the answers that we are bringing now with robotics. So I really think this combination of digital intelligence that is brought by AI and the physical intelligence that is brought by robotics, and the merging, the integration of these is really going to produce much more than what we have today. I mean, we see the impact of AI in many other domains, not only in robotics. We see the impact of AI in the understanding many aspects of the physical world. But when it comes to performing in the physical world, you need the physical machine, the embodiment of the machine. And that is where this connection is taking place today.
So we've heard there about the merging of digital and the physical world, and also the impact of AI across many different fields, many different sectors. And you began by talking about what's happening here in the UAE. To delve into that a little bit more, the UAE is being recognized as an innovator when it comes to AI in the field of robotics. How can they create an even stronger ecosystems that really supports academia, startups, industry? What's happening here and what can be built on?
Well, I mean, the thing about that environment is maybe I can share with you the example of the Silicon Valley. This is an environment, a small space, the Silicon Valley, with universities that came to bring excellent researchers in a very rich environment to explore ideas and to create innovations. We started with HP, and then we started to see all these companies being created around the Silicon Valley. So what is the secret? Well, the secret was the fact that you have a combination of academic work, excellent academic work, you have entrepreneurship, and you have investment that is coming from industry to create this continuous cycle of innovation. I mean, you cannot, the industry needs the new graduates, the new ideas, the new startups, and the investors are looking for those new ideas to bring this. And I really think this requires a lot of, for the UAE, requires bringing together all these different elements. And I think this is what the UAE is doing by attracting talent to be interacting with academic research, and by bringing the seed funding for projects that can take us to the future. I mean, what you can see here in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai or in most of the research centers that are coming to life, you can see the international collaboration. You can also see the support and the funding, and you can see the vision. We are looking at the future, and there is this citation that you see at the Future Foundation and at the Future Museum, that the future belongs to those who conceive it, who design it, and who execute it. And they really believe into bringing that to reality here in the UAE.
It's fascinating to hear about this in your experience, in your own words. And I love the fact that as a leader in robotics, you come back time and time again to celebrating the human factor. And now here you've given the spotlight to the talent here in the UAE. I've been here for over a decade and seen for myself, it's a unique environment, the international collaboration you speak of, but also in synergy with the Emirati talent here.
Absolutely.
It's just a wonderful ecosystem. If we're talking about the rise of autonomous robots, it's fair to ask you a question I'm sure you're asked all the time, Professor Khatib. How can we trust these robots if they go off into their own direction? And some of those kind of ethical, regulatory questions. What would be your perspective on this?
So, have you seen 2001?
Yes.
Don't trust them.
Okay, we're going to use that quote.
So the truth is that there is a lot of fear about technologies, and it is founded because sometimes we misuse technology. Technology should be like everything in life should be used with a lot of attention to ethics. And we had problems actually deploying robots in manufacturing where complete replacement of the workforce took place. And the reason was that automation was completely removing humans from the workplace. But it was a very simple set of task that these robots were doing. The thing about today's robots and what people don't really realize is that these robots are going to need us as much as we need them. That is, the world is different from manufacturing. That world where we need to understand the context, we need to understand the environment and how we interact with that environment is quite difficult. So we are building autonomy. We are building navigation. We are building skills to grasp. We are building skills to assemble, to do things. We are building autonomous car. We are building all these things. But we're still far from having the cognitive abilities of a human. So robots can really not get that reasoning that a human can do or replace the expert. They can replace knowledge.
I love how your answer connected that out-of-world experience with our world. And it's a very empowering, inspiring message. And I'm sure people listening in might well be in touch to try to help that idea come to fruition. I've been hanging on your every word, Professor Khatib. It's been fascinating to get this deep dive with you and also to unpack the complexity behind the science, the technology, robotics in a very accessible fashion. I've certainly learned so much. I'm just going to end by saying, if you ever go into space, can I please be your assistant?
You're most welcome. Let's start with the expedition on the ocean. They are just amazing, and my students just, when is the next expedition? We're ready.
Count me in, count me in. Professor Khatib, thank you for your time today to take all of this effort to explain everything with us, inspire us, entertain us as well. And thank you for joining us here at the AI to I podcast series.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you.